Alright, hi everyone, welcome back to a new video. We've all heard the rumors that there's a new Nintendo system coming out. Obviously, we don't know if these are true or not, it's just rumors. A new system will be coming out in 2024. I want to talk about the Switch's lifespan, obviously. I also wanted to talk about other Nintendo systems' lifespan and how it's the same as the Switch's. And I also want to talk about why it's needed, like right now in this time. The Wii's lifespan spans from 2006 to 2013. They came out with a new console, the Wii Mini, that came out in 2012 and ended in 2017. Then the Wii U was 2012 to 2017. Then you have like the handhelds, which lasted way longer than the other systems. The DS released in 2004 and ended in 2014. And then we're looking at the absolute juggernaut that is the Game Boy, that started in 1989 and ended in 2002. Obviously the longest is the Game Boy, that was 13 years, which is crazy to be honest with you. The DS then is the next one with 10 years. I suppose we can't really look at that. We're not looking at handheld devices, we're going to just look at the mainline consoles. We'll start with the N64, that lasted 7 years. The Wii U only lasted 5 years. The Wii lasted 7 years. If you're counting the Wii Mini, then the Wii's lifespan was actually 12 years, but like we won't count that, we'll just say from the original Wii. Right now at the current moment, the Switch's lifespan is 6 years, still going. If the rumors are true, it'll be 7 years by the time this console ends. They're all kind of like pretty close together. I feel like the Wii U with 5 years needed a change. I think they messed up big time. I don't know if they really realized how like poorly the Wii U was going to sell. Nothing went well, and that's why it kind of ended after 5 years. I think a normal one is usually about 6-7 years over lifespan for a console. I think that one was just an exception because how shit it was. The N64 was 7 years. I don't really know much about that. I wasn't born when it came out and I was only 2 when the lifespan ended. The average is around 7 years, you know, if you take out the handheld devices. Yeah, it's definitely coming up to its time anyway. It doesn't feel like 7 years. That's ridiculous. Now we're gonna just take a look at the actual Switch's lifespan and like how it went, you know what I mean? How good was the Switch if we're comparing it to other consoles? For me, nothing will ever beat the Wii's library. It's just madness, you know. I'm not even talking about all the great games I had. I'm also talking about like just the library in general. When we think of the Switch, you know, we think of Mario Odyssey and Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. I think Breath of the Wild released with the system. Mario Odyssey only came out a while afterwards. It's a pretty good start. It's a pretty good start for a console's lifespan. I mean, oh my god, 2 of those games revolutionized Nintendo forever. And I think for a lot of people, Mario Odyssey is the best Mario game of all time. It's going to be extremely hard to ever top that. It was just a fantastic game. I don't really enjoy the Legend of Zelda games, so I did play it of course, but it's like the only Zelda game I played. I feel like I'm never going to get any better than that, so I'm like, oh, I'm not going to bother playing them. So to release with those 2 games is just unfreaking believable, man. Of course, Mario Kart 8, unbelievable. Although Mario Kart 8 released on the Wii U, it was just added upon in the Switch. Like I think when we say Mario Kart 8, everyone just thinks of the Switch. Like yes, it did release on the Wii U, but like it's just a crap version on the Wii U. It's the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe version. Again, it's very hard to argue how any Mario Kart is going to beat that. It has a base game of 48 tracks, but then the DLC thing that came out recently again has another 48 tracks. So it is the best way to play Mario Kart. Let's just be real with that. It is absolutely brilliant. There you go. There's 3 already iconic games, you know. Of course, Smash Bros Ultimate is again a series best game, you know, that's what everyone is saying. I know a lot of people say that Super Smash Bros Melee is the best one, but like realistically, if you have to take nostalgia out of it, Mario Odyssey, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, Mario Kart 8 and Super Smash Bros Ultimate, they are the best games. Like statistically, they are probably the best games in those series, and they're all on one console. Now, of course, obviously the Nintendo Switch is the most modern console, and like it can release a lot more like better content, better graphics and all that. You can't argue it, like kind of like they probably are the best games. You know, it's hard to argue when you take off your nostalgia goggles. It's very hard to argue that these are probably the best games in the series. So like, you know, it's had a really good run, really good run. Animal Crossing, Jesus, like again, that's a wonder of a game. Now look, I know Animal Crossing New Horizons released in the COVID times when like everyone needed a game like this. Let's be real, probably boosted its sales, but like again, if you had to look at it, you'd be like, that's probably the best game in the series, you know. Kirby and the Forgotten Land. It's had a great lifespan. For me, in a personal sense, I didn't actually get it on day one. I was really excited about it, but I just didn't have the money at the time. I bought it probably about 2 years later for cheap, and it changed me. It changed me. Oh my god. I've never played a game as much as I've played Mario Odyssey. Like, I've never been so in love with a game. I had a lot of studies, a lot of shit to do. I never did any of it. Because when this game came out, it was nothing but the game. It was that good. Every time I logged into this game, I just loved it. I had so much fun. And I've never had that kind of fun with a game before. We're going to now look into why this needs a change. It was a great console, but it's time now. It's time to go. As a wise man once said, it's time to go.
Claude, I'm going to ask you the same question that I asked.
It's time to go!
I think the real nail in the coffin for the Switch was Tears of the Kingdom. I think when this game came out, a lot of people realized that the console just could not run this game. It just couldn't do it. Everyone complained about it, okay? It couldn't get past 30 frames per second. In this day and age, that is like unexcusable. That is just stupid that a game can't play more than 30 frames per second. That is just ridiculous. A lot of people said that the frame rate would drop instantly. It was just not a fun time, you know. It was a great, unbelievable game, but it was the console that was holding it back. You know, a lot of people were looking at it being like, it's mad that this looks like an old YouTube video, like, you know, 1080p at best. These are the games we need now. Like, you've pushed the boundary so much that Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom is the new norm now, okay? These are the games we're expecting as fans, and for your console to not be able to run that in this day and age, 2023, is very, very bad. I think a lot of people have seen this and been like, okay, it's time now that you need to release a new console. This is just isn't good enough anymore. Another huge reason is because the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X have released a few years ago, and these are the most powerful consoles you're going to get, and the Nintendo Switch is absolutely nowhere near that. I think maybe they might be like making it because, oh look, these new consoles came out, and I don't think they're battling with like PlayStation, Xbox. Like, they know well their console isn't powerful enough. But why is that? Why is the Nintendo console not good enough? Their whole like attitude is that graphics don't matter, it's about the game. Like, that is fair, because their games are like probably the best out there, and the graphics are shit compared to, like, I don't know, something like Call of Duty on the PlayStation 5. I know they strive by that, but when your game can't run over 30 frames per second, it's definitely time to be like, okay, get out of that mindset. You need to get out of that mindset. Like, times are changing. For me, as you know, I'm 23 years old now, I don't really mind the whole graphics thing, but I know for younger audiences now, like growing up with like PlayStation 4s, graphics need to be good, you know what I mean? So that's, I think that's a big reason as to why they need to like start a new console now and make it better, make it more powerful, okay? But I think the last reason is just very simple. It's just money. I think what I read was that the Nintendo Switch's sales have dropped drastically in the last year, and they're not really making that much money on it anymore. So like, that is probably the main reason why. It's just like they're not making enough money on it, and that they need to make a new console to make more money. That's why a new console is needed right now. What they're trying to do is they're trying to release it just before Christmas, which is good, okay? Which is actually, I know a lot of people are like, oh, why don't they release it earlier? It's actually really good. If they're releasing a console just before Christmas, that means it needs to have good games on it. You wouldn't want to get it like in January of 2024 and it having like games, you know, like maybe one good game. Why don't you just wait 1 year and the whole console release with multiple like big games? Like, imagine like 3 or 4 Mario Odysseys or Breath of the Wilds, or like on a massive new scale, a new Mario Kart or something like that. That's my thoughts on the console anyway. Look, I'm obviously really looking forward to it. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that's all I've got to say. Please like and subscribe. Have a good day. Goodbye.